tanky junglers, Set Volibear, Sejuani last year, and then it came to a carry jungle meta and teams had to adapt at Worlds. Similar sort of thing here with the AP junglers, and jungle kind of changes up your whole team composition. If you're playing engaged junglers, well, now you can play enchanter supports because you don't need engage and support. If you're playing AP junglers, well, now you can play AD carry mid laners, and if you have AD junglers, then mages are stronger, right? So jungle kind of dictates how your team's going to draft around it, and we're already seeing an Ahri ban come out from RNG targeted on Chaz.
And I love it because we're seeing 80 solo laners banned away on one side, AP jungler banned away on the other side in the form of Morgana. So both of those pools tightly contested and usually paired together. That said, Rumble is up and available. We know this from what we've heard from scrims is the #1 must-ban pick 100%, but instead they banned the Varus. Obviously a very oppressive lane pick. You saw it in the hands of Sven in game 1, and easy Rumble pickup. We finally get to see how good this champion is on the international stage.
Is the Varus ban even that necessary? I think the Rumble is a much, much stronger pick. Even in the regular season, I don't think Gala even has a single game on Varus, so a very surprising ban coming out there from the side of Pentanet, but it does mean that they can trade the Lee Sin for the Rumble. Maybe that was their idea. Thresh also has been banned out on the first rotations because what Thresh does, it enables Aphelios and Jinx, and Praedyth is no shy player of Aphelios. So maybe we see that locked in on 3. The Lee Sin can be a flex for the solo laners, can also go in the jungle, but I doubt it. But that's an insta Kai'Sa Nautilus response from the side of RNG. Gala's most played champion is Kai'Sa. He can get going in the teamfights, get going in the assassinations with a Rumble, and Thresh gets countered by Nautilus in lane, obviously because of the hook interaction, but we're going to see a hyper carry here come out from Praedyth.
And you can see very clearly telegraphed in draft the strategy the Pentanet want to go for. It is all about Praedyth. We talked about it before. He is the man that does 30% of their damage. He is the carry in the late game. Buy time for him. Maybe why we saw the Varus ban, just so that no strong, oppressive early game can come through from the side of RNG. That said, level 6 rolls around. Kai'Sa Nautilus, pretty damn oppressive, especially with a Rumble paired up. Is the trade going to be worth it in the end is the question we're going to have to track in this game, as now the Renekton has been banned away.
My question for Pentanet is, what jungler are you going to run? I don't think that Lee Sin can go jungle against Rumble because of the clear speed difference. If nothing happens in the early game, the Rumble will just naturally be ahead, and I think RNG can just target junglers here if they want to. Yes, they could target mids to free up their mid laner for the blind pick, but I think targeting things like the Kindred is a good idea. Maybe things like the Lilia, the Olaf, these kind of champions banned away. I'm expecting more AP banned out champions, but that's an Olaf ban from PGG, and I mean, understandable. Rumble is almost like a triple flex for this team. We've seen Xiaohu play it, we've seen Cryan play it, and Wei could play it in the jungle as well. I've seen it in solo queue. I've been tracking him in solo queue. He's been playing a lot of Rumble. So it's a triple flex Rumble, and I think that Pentanet want to ban away that Olaf just in case.
They're keeping a lot of options open, ready to see where it will go in the end. A lot of adaptability here, but for RNG, it feels much easier. They just focus on the jungle pool. They say, hey, force that Lee Sin into the jungle, because when you think about what Biopanther
Ooh, that's a Fiddlesticks!
Woo! Oh. Sorry, I was very excited. Look, I saw this champion on LS's tier list on Twitter, and I was wondering where this came out of, but I love to see it. Fiddlesticks now coming in.
Pabu has a champion ocean. He's played so many different champions in the LCO, and Fiddlesticks isn't one of them. Now he's busting it out. That's confirmed Lee Sin solo lane. That's a Nocturne lock-in from the side of RNG. That could go mid or top as well. Probably mid now that Gnar's locked in. So what's Pentanet going to counter a top lane? You have a lot of flexibility in the Lee Sin. Maybe you want to put it into Gnar or just default to a tank option for Biopanther. Things like the Ornn, the Scion, and the Urgot.
Cagel, they still have the luxury of the flex. They can put this Nocturne mid. They can put it in jungle. There's an Urgot now locked in.
Okay, so it's going to be Lee Sin mid into Nocturne. I don't know if I was ever going to hear that in my pro career or like in pro play in general. There's a Lee Sin versus Nocturne mid. And then you have Fiddlesticks versus Rumble jungle, perhaps. There's so much going on here. A lot of aggression on the bot side of the map as well. This game is going to be bloody.
It's going to be so incredibly explosive. I don't think RNG get the luxury of being the more slow controlled team this time around. I think they are ready to scrap. They're going to have to shift away from what they showed domestically.
Look at RNG's comp. Nocturne ultimate, Rumble ultimate, Kai'Sa, Nautilus, Mega Gnar. Praedyth has to play Pixel perfectly to dodge and dive away from this. But then Pentanet on the re-engage. You have the Fiddlesticks, the Lee Sin assassination. You've got the Urgot who can be a bruiser frontline, and the Thresh for the pick potential. So I would say RNG's comp is more well-rounded. It looks really broken. I'm not going to lie. Their composition on this patch looks very, very strong. But Pentanet have that kind of wildcard factor in the Fiddlesticks Urgot. Maybe RNG get caught off guard.
Cagel, 3 games at MSI 2021. This is the 3rd one that we're now hopping into. 3 completely different drafts. I am here for it. I love it. I love the Fiddlesticks. I love the Nocturne. I love there is a Rumble in the jungle. I am ready to see what these champions can do.
Do you know what I love, Dracos? I love the fact that Lee Sin is 100% pick ban. Ban both games, and now it's picked mid lane. Mid lane Lee Sin, top lane Lee Sin has been dominating solo queue. I think I've seen Armwood, Perks, all these solo laners have been playing Lee Sins in their lanes. It's a flex for double solo lane. It's very powerful on red side, and we've seen both games so far. The blue side bans Lee Sin. RNG leave it open. Pentanet lock it in. Chaz on the Lee Sin. Let's see what he can do.
And when you look at overall strength from both of these regions, you have to wonder, are we going to get both these teams to their comfort zone where they can play for team fights, where they can play for scaling, or is it just going to be an explosive early game where little differences in the lanes or big differences in the lanes end the game before it can even start?
Yeah, and RNG have the tools at level 6. Rumble, Nocturne, if they can move bot and get one good bot wave for a dive, Pentanet are going to be in trouble, but Chaz has the TP. Pabu can power farm on the Fiddlesticks. I would love to see how his clear goes in the early game, because I've seen Fiddlesticks do 2 camps at the same time, level 1. We'll see if he does that, but Ming already getting aggressive here.
One auto down, just trading back. Praetor's lethal tempo, healing up a little bit there. Will now walk away.
Ooh, Pabu took a health potion and put his pain quad on the entrance to cover the invade. Maybe he's scared of that. Fiddlesticks level 1 is very weak. And they have a Nocturne Nard. They're going to be a fight here.
Shotgun legs are going to be very strong. Nocturne level 1, though, also quite strong. Lee Sin, decently powerful as well, but right now it is a 4v3. The hook going to go in. Biopanther forced to flash away.
Xiaohu also flashed, though, so it's an even trade overall, but RNG get the ping cord.
That is going to be massive. A little bit less defensive vision here. Jungler, something we have to track in. Kadril, I'm not going to lie. If you are an LCO fan, if you are an OS fan, things look dire. But luckily, when you need to know where to look, where to focus your attention, the man's made it easy for you because his head is a highlighter. It's Pabu. And that, I said, that says Champion Ocean. You might wonder, Dracos, 4 champions, that's a puddle. And I go, yeah, okay, 4 champions, that's a puddle.
Now it's like a lake.
Now it's like a lake.
And now, wait for it. Now it's an ocean.
Because let me tell you, this is the only region where you can play Viego, and Pabu has done it.
And now he's playing Fiddlesticks.
And now he's playing
and
Fiddle.
Fiddlesticks wasn't on that list, so now it's not an ocean, it's a...
What was bigger than an ocean?
A planet. So it's Champion Planet.
Champion Planet.
Well, aggression in the bot side already.
Now going forward, Praetor's backing off. Gala getting a decent trade, but Praetor's firing back pretty well here in the early lane. Nice little thumbs up. I like the confidence coming in. But the reason we talk about Pabu is the catalyst for the early game on the side of Pentanet. Now, I'll be honest with you. Xiaohu has a bigger champion pool than Pabu. As Pabu just barely manages to clear out there. And part of that's because the LPL just plays a million games. So he's the other guy that we have to watch on the opposite side, because Xiaohu, alongside Ming, is one of the longest standing members of this team. And while Biopanther has weathered a lot of storms, weathering Xiaohu is it's a bit of a different beast.
Yeah, Xiaohu role swapping to top. Him and Ming won MSI in 2018, alongside Uzi, alongside Karsa, this roster from almost 3 years ago. They've stayed almost like a rebuild coming in here, Wei, Crying, Gala all joining last year. They won the LPL, they've come to this MSI. This is the 7th international appearance for this organization of RNG. So these players, they have a lot to live up to, I suppose. I mean, this organization has an MSI trophy to their name.
Absolutely do. And of course, this game may not seem important in the grand scheme of things, but it all starts with a single win or a single loss can change the pace at which you play. RNG very clearly the favorites, and for now they've got control in the mid lanes. Is Crying, I think no surprise. When it comes to the auto attack duel, Nocturne reigns supreme. His entire kit is just a bunch of steroids. There's a Q that boosts your AD, there's a W spell shield that boosts your attack speed, and when you got a Conqueror to boot, you are a very difficult champion to trade with. That said, Lee Sin, energy-based, so maybe in a war of attrition, Lee Sin can come out on top.
He is struggling in the early lane phase, though. Nocturne obviously can push the wave really easy with the Q and with the passive. Pabu's going to show on this top wall. Just about shows, but both junglers are on opposite sides. I think both teams know this now. They should know that Wei's path bot side because he's not contesting this top grab, and Pabu was spot on a wall. So even early game so far, the only worry I have for Pentanet is their bot side. If they get pushed in and Crying can move down here with Wei, then they're in trouble. But it looks like Wei's going to base, Pabu's going to base. Even game so far.
Pabu walking down. Looks like he's pinged out wolves. Maybe they're anticipating an invade here. Don't really have the vision to know for certain, so rushing down. But he is behind now, as Rumble has reset, and he is not.
Yeah, I would say that's almost like a small blunder there from Pabu. He's scared that he's going to lose his bot camps, but the problem is the time that it takes for Pabu to run from top crab to his bot camps is the time that Wei can use to base and run top side. So naturally, when Pabu gets this wolves, I think Wei is a couple seconds behind him. The only difference is Wei's actually base and picked up some items. So I think Pabu's going to clear out wolves, clear out Grump, and then go to base, but he will get spotted on the bot side of the map. Maybe that gives a window for Wei to walk into top side and take his top camp respawns, because Pabu is quite behind Wei right now.
And you can already see Crying walking up, just trying to get a little bit more vision in the jungle, lays down a ward on Raptors. So while Pabu, we expect it to be a catalyst for early action, he is being flawlessly tracked by the side of RNG.
Yeah, and both these junglers probably want to play towards the bot side. Pabu doesn't want to get traded to the late game. Wait.
Oh, that's disaster. Decoy caught right as the recall comes in. He has to flash out to safety, but they can just follow up. They can just commit. Decoy now set to fall. Exhaust coming through. Maybe, just maybe he could buy him one more auto. One more auto. They cannot get it. Decoy stays alive.
Just about lives. The exhaust was clutch. Gala didn't use the heal to gap close, but look at Wei. Like I just talked about, he's going to take this Raptor respawn, and then that does put Pabu on the back foot.
3 summoners to 2 though overall. Chaz immediately has to leap out to safety. That fear of Nocturne is just so oppressive to play against. It's only going to get harder once level 6 comes through. Pabu going to clear some vision, but there's just so much in his jungle. If he walks face first into this Rumble, it is fight. Rumble, he's only got Sork's shoes. Wei going to go in. It's going to be big damage. He's going... Ooh. Fear may be enough, but Pabu has to run to safety. Healing is just not going to be enough. Rumble simply does too much damage. The flash back out. Pabu not having flash for the level 6 is big. Biopanther on the way in, but Xiaohu just continuing to pressure. It's a full court press from the side of RNG.
Yeah, RNG have pushing top, pushing mid, and they have a winning bot side, so that means that they can walk into the jungle. Wei forcing out Pabu, wants to contest these Krugs. Decoy is around, but Ming's on his way. It could be a 3v3 on the top side of the map, but Wei might think it's a little bit too risky.
Level 6 though for Xiaohu. Meganar there. If they want to go, they need to go soon. A Decoy, not sure how much they actually see on that one. Flash over the wall. Wei. A little aggressive, but level 6 now coming in. Decoy going to be in trouble. They know that he has no flash. He's walking out. The fear has been proc. They're trying to burn him down the flay. Is it going to be enough? The hook now lands in. Have they caught out the Rumble? Just a single tower shot on the way. Biopanther only level 5. Meanwhile, Xiaohu is taking place. Chaz going in. The kickback. The follow-up. Wei trying to turn and burn, but it's not enough. That is first blood for the LCO. First blood for Oceania. Now it is Ming in trouble. Xiaohu is getting plates, but Panther is here to look for some kills. The hook out to safety, and RNG will back away.
Flash Q. He might look for it. No, decides to back off. Really overreaching there from RNG. Cryin had no mana. He couldn't look for the kill, and they turn the fight. Pentanet get first blood. Both AD carries farming up on the bot side. Biopanther lost a lot of creeps on top, and he lost a lot of XP. Pabu's a little bit behind on his clear as well, but that's first blood for Pentanet.
At the end of the day, though, they're still at a gold deficit. The massive CS differences between the lane. While, yes, they were able to grab that kill, so much free farm time given to the likes of Cryin, who got to farm, push out, and then roam up, use that semi-global ultimate. Similarly, Xiaohu didn't even participate in that exchange. He was just taking plates. He was just taking minions.
Yeah, and the laners definitely getting ahead here. Cryin TV's back. Chaz matches it. But there's a pause, Dracos. A lot of action in the early game, I must say. I thought it'd be more around the bot side, but Wei's taking the action top side, and that all comes down to the small things in League of Legends. Pabu gets spotted on a bot side Gromp ward and hasn't based yet, so Wei says, we have tempo advantage, let's contest top side camps. Ming forces a play in bot, bases and tries to get there in time. Decoy obviously there first because it's the enemy jungle. And the action kicks off. Pentanet gets first blood, really good read from Chaz, really good communication, but Wei's flash over the wall of those Krugs was a little bit too aggressive, I think.
Oh, I'm just calling it out immediately, hands shaking. Goes to bite the nails there. It's a lot of pressure on stage right now, and it's hard to just be casual when you're in this position coming in from the LCO. A lot of veteran players, a lot of veteran names on the opposite side, a lot of young players here. Wouldn't be surprised if all of them are sweating for every moment in this game. And the hardest part I feel like about these pauses, Cage, when you can tell me this, is just pausing a game, being in the middle of whatever you're doing. Your heart is racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then you just stop. And no one is allowed to speak. That has to be just the biggest shock.
Yeah, obviously not allowed to talk in a pause because that's just unfair, right? You can plan ahead before the pause comes back. So these players aren't allowed to talk, and that just kind of makes you lose your thought process unless you're completely really focused. I've been in pauses of 1 hour on the LEC stage, right? Where there's like a bug.
You mean 10 minutes?
You know, yeah, but the chrono break comes in, the pause is long, and from there you can lose concentration, you can lose the flow of the game, because as soon as the game starts again, you're like, okay, wait, what was our plans? Because no one's talked, right? So you have to really keep up with what's actually happening, try to remind yourself on the minimap, okay, I was doing this, 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 and this, I'll keep track of it. When the pause comes back, I'll know what to do.
It's true. Big, though, as we take a breath, chance to reset after the plays that have been going in the favor of RNG, despite the first blood in favor of Pentanet. Level 6s are going to be coming in. The Urgot is the big deal. For the Fiddlesticks, it is massive. It's a similar story, though, on the opposite side for the Rumble. Nocturne already using his. Lee Sin already using his.
Oh, we're back in.
So we're going to have to track these ultimate cooldowns. So much of this game going to be defined by that, or by which AD carry can just scale latest the fastest.
Yeah, but Chaz has the Iron Spike Whip now, so he can use that, push in the wave, so Cryin gets pushed in. Can't really contest because jungle support missing, has no flash. Very risky for him to walk up, but the Nocturnal being on cooldown is really, really good for the side laners of Pentanet. It means that they're relieved. We'll ignore that Q. And Predat and Biopanther don't really have to be scared for another 30-40 seconds.
Of course, Fiddlesticks level 6 as well. Wei has his, though. Rumble ultimate, terrifying. Equalizer One of the nastiest abilities in the game, League of Legends, 1.5 total AP scaling.
And look at how fast Chaz just pushed that mid wave in. He autoed the first 3 melees, E Iron Spike whipped, wave's dead. And that's the power of Lee Sin. E Max wins the trades, you can't really walk up to him, and he one-shots the wave. So Chaz and Cryan, it feels like they have so much downtime. They can just instantly one-shot the wave and both sit on a pink ward. Both siders have to be scared, so freezes are really important. If Praedith and Decoy can keep this freeze on bot side, it frees them up.
Certainly does. Kai'Sa now coming back though, maybe they look to break the freeze, but this is Iron Spike Whip. The lane where Cryan will now walk up with his Nocturne passive and maybe auto attack to try to one-shot the wave, and then proc his own Iron Spike Whip, and we will do this repeatedly until everyone has ult again.
And moving to the bot side of the map, I think that's key. You have these double ultimates. If they can kind of catch out Gala here with no flash, Ming with no flash, then maybe they can start snowballing the game. But the mid to bot is important, but the Herald's up, right? The Herald is also very important in the early stage of the game. Early Dragon for early Herald, always worth it for the Herald most of the time if it's used well, and RNG have the pushing lanes to use it. They're going to start this up. The Nocturne ultimate's up. Xiaohu also has his ultimate. Wei has the ultimate. And if there is a 3v3 on this top side, honestly, Dracos, I don't know who wins it. It comes down to skill, it comes down to Chaz and Lee Sin, but Pentanet are staying bot side. They're not moving up, they're not contesting the Herald, so that means they have to cross map. Look for a dive. RNG only have 1 TP to work with.
But there has to be a little bit of pressure, it's said, on the side of Pentanet, because you see the Gnar steadily building a CS advantage. Urgot is getting further and further behind. Herald is going to drop. They need to be ready to force the dive. But Gala and Ming, they sniff this one out. They back away. They know this is the only pressure play, the only response play available for Pentanet. So it is Herald exchange for it looks like just 1 plate here from the side of Pentanet.
Yeah, but Chaz is going to be late to mid-wave. Cryan can push that one in. They are going to trade the Drake for the Herald. Chaz obviously going to catch that mid-wave, but Biopanther is the weak side. This is what we expected from draft. This is how Pentanet play the game. Sion, Urgot, Oren, these are the weak side champions he wants to be on. He has no flash though, so he's going to have to give up this top wave. So even trade across the map. They might even Herald this tower to take it down, and that gives Xiaohu even more push on this top side.
And if Xiaohu gets a really fast stride breaker here, this is going to be so absolutely miserable for Biopanther. As Chaz trading back, instant leap in, instant leap out, and Tower now going to be taking a ton of damage. Second creep wave coming in. Maybe they full commit to this. That is the first charge, and they'll finish it.
That's crazy. 9 minutes, 40 seconds into the game. Top tower is down for Biopanther. That Herald, disaster. And look at the gold. 1.2k gold down already 9 minutes in. And that's the problem with playing this weak side. Pentanet couldn't find that much on the cross map, barring 2 plates and a little bit of a wave denial. But the cross map from RNG is just way stronger.
And honestly, Kidron just caught off guard. I thought the Herald had already charged when there were 2 plates left. That was the start of the use of the Herald. That was Xiaohu building up such a massive lane advantage just solo up against this Urgot.
And that all comes down to the early fight in the jungle. Biopanther the one hovering around. And they were able to deny creeps as Xiaohu pushed in the waves. We've got a replay here. Looks like Ming flashed in for the hook, forces Praedith's flash, and that's always worth it for RNG because you have a Nocturne Rumble. Jinx no flash means it's really hard for it to fight. Nocturne, the Nautilus flash, sorry, doesn't really mean as much.
And again, RNG is steadily building gold lead, almost 2k ahead. And this is the second time, again, where we've seen slightly sloppy recalls cost Pentanet dearly. First it was Decoy barely making it out. This time Praedith forcing the flash, forced to back away, and resetting the recall also in itself a tempo loss.
Yeah, and that flash is actually really important. I'm just going to go back to it 1 second, because Praedith no flash for the next 4 minutes means that RNG, when they play this mid to bot, Nocturne Rumble ult on the dive is going to be horrific if the Lantern doesn't come in time. So we'll have to see how RNG want to do it. You can see they've transferred all that pressure from top to bot side. Xiaohu's also grouping up here, means Pentanet have to give it up, which means once this mid wave's pushed in, they can start walking up, getting some plates, move into the bot side of the map. And you can see Wei and Ming holding hands. Xiaohu's probably going to join them as well. Biopanther's catching top wave with no TP. I'm not sure if Pentanet can play on the bot side of the map.
And the thing that you see there is that with no control mages in the game, with a Lee Sin versus a Nocturne mid, if you have a wave and a man advantage, you get to walk up and hit the tower. It's as simple as that. The reliable wave clear just isn't there. So if RNG just keep going for plays like that, they're just going to keep building this advantage. And you see in this game right now, all eyes on Xiaohu. Massive gold advantage for this man. Whereas on the opposite side, Chaz, benefactor of that first blood. What else can he get done?
Yeah, and people who've been quiet this game is Gala. I mean, there was a little bit of an exchange level 3 in bot, but this is the first tournament for RNG without Uzi. Gala has big shoes to fill, and in the finals, I think he did really well. He did pretty exceptional in the LPL, especially in the finals. Really good stats to look at, really ahead in kills, KDA, gold, lots of things going into him, and the pentakill.
And
you remember the
penta
pentakill, which was really fun to watch. Really well played from him. And RNG funneling resource into this bot side. Xiaohu's already ahead. He's a level up. He's going to keep the top push. What's the point in playing top side? Let's go bot. Praedith no flash.
The instant combo. He just gets absolutely deleted. That is why Rumble has been banned. That damage was disgusting. A double kill.
And this all comes down to Ming trading flashes with Praedith. The second these ultimate land, what can he do? No stopwatch, no flash. He's dead. And they can start hitting onto this bot tower. Gala doesn't pick up any kills, but he's going to get some plates. And Wei already 1,000 gold ahead as well. The map's falling apart for Pentanet.
And this is one of the questions that we had. Would we see Wei play around the top side, set up Xiaohu? But Xiaohu is building his own leads. That's freed up Wei to play around the bottom side. You talked about it, a single flash missing, the immediate follow-up, and this is not...
It's a full Rumble ult.
This is nasty.
It's a full Rumble ult. There's really not much Prated can do here, and Pentanet needed to find something, but what can they do? Mid push is even. They can't control bot side. Xiaohu has perma top push, who can go towards mid, which means Chaz has to back off. So Pentanet, the only real way they can crack open this setup from RNG is find a pick, but it's so difficult when you have defensive vision. Look at their pinks, all in their own jungle on the blue side of the bottom side of the map. And RNG can just kind of walk up and do whatever they want with these engaged tools. Nocturne, Nautilus, Kai'Sa, Rumble, there's so much to deal with for Prated.
And on top of that, you have the I won't call it global, but the long-range mobility of the Nocturne ult as well as the Kai'Sa ultimate. So if you're even slightly off on a play, or if RNG can respond, even if it's a few seconds late, their ultimates and their abilities and their champions can make up that difference. PGG, it's incredibly difficult. 1 minute left till the Infernal, trying to lay down at least a little bit of vision. Pabu really yet to find an impact out of those early plays. The Fiddlesticks not quite getting the value maybe that PGG were hoping for.
Yeah, PGG kind of got some bot side control there. They had a push. Biopanther pushed out top. He has the TP as well, so they have one dragon already. Infernal dragon spawning, 40 seconds. Maybe Pentanet just want to fight it. The lanes are struggling because of the amount of control RNG have. Maybe they just want to take a fight.
And I think the thing is, Kadril, you saw how much damage Rumble did. Now that was on locked down targets. If they can get out of the ult, it's not such a big concern. But now that Wei, level 9, has Night Harvester, has been stacking up the Dark Harvest as well, it might just be too much damage. If Jinx gets hit by any of those major cooldowns, Prated just can't fight.
There's so many of them, right? You've got the Nocturne Rumble, you've got the Kai'Sa Nautilus, and then on top of that, if you dodge away from all those four, Xiaohu can flash in with the Mega Gnar and get you into the wall. He has a Lantern to work with, his flash is up soon, he has the Kraken Slayer. Biopanther's TPing in, it looks like they do want to fight this dragon. This TP means they're committing.
No tower top, Wei push in their favor. PGG at least have a little bit of the setup, but really don't have the vision. Decoy going to be spotted out, has to be careful here. Pabu waiting over the wall, waiting in the darkness. Hook will not quite get down. So close there. Ming not even sweating as he just walks away.
That's what Pentanet need to look for. They need to look for a pick, because the second they lose vision, Cryon can come out of nowhere. Wei can use the ultimate from Fog of War. It's going to be really difficult. Look at the amount of space they have to work with. They have this only choke from the blue buff entrance. And RNG, instead of even starting the dragon, they can just start hitting onto this tower. Pabu's been spotted out. That's their main engage tool alongside Chaz. Chaz goes to clear mid-wave. And I think RNG have all the tools they need to maybe even look for a dive.
Chaz is just getting absolutely burned down here. They're going to try to take him out. Leap forward from Xiaohu. The finish up coming in from Cryon. Now Biopanther is here, but it's too little too late. The whole time the PGG were trying to set up the dragon play, RNG were taking mid. They take Chaz too. They are getting everything.
This is the problem Pentanet have. They don't have vision, so they don't know what RNG is doing. Two members hitting on towards the tower. Can we force Drake? They walk in, they lose mid tower, and then Chaz gets dove. So everything's falling apart for Pentanet here. They don't get the dragon. They lose their mid tier 1. Really good macro from RNG, using the enemy's information to their advantage. They know that they want to contest dragon. Well, let's just go mid, and if they walk into dragon, we'll collapse on them.
And overall, the amount of time wasted there by PGG. Now, if it works out, you're going to call that absolute success, worth the gamble. But it was a gamble. Fiddlestick stood there for almost a minute. Pabu just waiting, hoping, begging almost to find that flank. But RNG play it slow. They use blue trinkets, they get the vision, they do what they need to do to make sure that they do not expose themselves to the Fiddlesticks ultimate. And so far, the Fiddlesticks pick, as powerful as it could be on paper, has just not had any impact.
Yeah, the problem Pabu's having is he needs to find a fight or a pick to get his ultimate used, to get the pick, to get the kill. The problem is when you have no vision, you can never really find those options. You don't have any pushing lanes to work with, you can't run through bot or mid to try and get the objective first. You're essentially sitting in your own jungle, just trying to wait for them to walk in. If RNG respect it like they did, pop some wards, use the Kai'Sa W to spot him out. The second he's spotted, RNG can walk forwards.
Now Wei is going to start the Herald. As you said, things maybe going to start to go from bad to worse. 4K gold lead in favor of RNG. It is 1 dragon to 1, but it's 2 towers to 0. Absolute and total map control from the side of RNG. And as RNG get ahead, Praetus' life gets harder and harder. Almost level 11 Rumble coming to this game. Xiaohu level 12. He has a Stride Breaker. I don't think the Jinx can really 1v1 any of the champions on the opposing side at this point, outside of the Nautilus, so things looking grim for the side of Pentanet.
Pentanet grouping up though. They pinged that mid wave coming out of base, and when you do that, it means you want to contest it. So they're contesting this mid wave. Maybe they want to push it in and go towards the bot side of the map, get some vision for Prated, but Prated is left alone.
Gal's just going to walk forward. He can take his time on this one. He's got the ultimate. They're going to use the TP. RNG going to back away for at least a moment, but Ming says not today, rather. Double TP now, the response from RNG. They are no stranger to fully committing to the bottom side.
Pabu might look to channel the ultimate though. Here we go.
This could be massive. The Fiddlesticks now coming into the midst of everybody. That's the fault. The entire team going to be going a hook from downtown to take out Ming. Wei trying to follow up, but the Rumble ult is not what they need. It is not soon. It is not enough. But Chaz is burning down. He just stands in the equalizer, and suddenly PGG, it looks so good. But RNG just slapping them with their wallets. They're just too strong.
RNG turned the fight, quadra kill for Wei, the Rumble coming up huge, and it looked like RNG were going to lose the fight. Really good Fiddlesticks ultimate, but they all tunnel visioned into a Rumble Gnar, and Xiaohu and Wei clean up.
Incredible, incredible team fighting from the side of RNG. Wei, truly a terror in that exchange, and sadly, that felt like the last-ditch effort. That felt like the last attempt. That felt like the one fight that PGG had to win.
But it looked like it was going to work. Praedyth escaped Ming. It looked like Gala couldn't really find the target to ultimate, and Chaz managed to find the backline. The problem is, there's so many threats. We talked about it in draft. Although you're getting onto the backline, look at the front line. Nocturne, Rumble, Gnar diving onto your backline, and then they managed to turn the fight. I'd love to see the replay. I want to see how much damage Wei did or where his positioning was, because I was focused on the Fiddlesticks. I thought that Pentanet might have had that fight, and they might have been able to find the win there to try and get a bot tower, bring the game back into their own hands, and make this game closer. But the problem is, the Rumble cleaned up. He's 6-1-1 now, and the damage is only going to get worse.
Oh man, a second Hextech alternator. He's just going to one-tap. Even if they don't stand in the ult, even if they flash out immediately, they're going to lose half their health on impact. Praedyth doing what he can to pick up the waves. Normally he is the big carry for this team, soaking up most of the CS in the mid to late game, but it's not really even the late game. We're not even at 20 minutes yet, and it's already almost a 6K gold lead for the side of RNG.
Yeah, Jinx is going to need a couple more items. So let's watch this again, because they're collapsing. Pentanet, look at them on the map, the TPs are coming in, and RNG commit double TP. Praedyth dodges away from Ming, and from here it looks like the fight's won, because Gala and Ming actually die to Pabu on the side, who gets a really good Fiddlesticks on them. Hang on, we got a fight!
There's more fights going out. The new Axe Effect replay not going to be allowed to finish, because more fighting is now coming through. Decoy with the hook coming in. Biopanther off to the side, but he's the one getting collapsed on Wei. Ultimate back up and available. Here comes the Nocturne ult on top of that. It barely touches the Jinx, and she loses a third of her health. Really
risky to dive there, but it looked like RNG found a pick. That's just some Fiddlesticks clones, it's not Pabu. Don't get baited out there, but it looked like RNG found a fight. Xiaohu had the Mega Gnar ultimate on cooldown, so it looked like he might have found Chaz. Chaz does escape. They can't find the re-engage on Praedyth, so Pentanet holding on.
Holding on for now, but certainly looks a little dire. RNG maybe a little bit too enthusiastic with the ultimates. It does give them priority and control over mid for now, and Xiaohu looking scarier and scarier. Been a long time since I've seen a Black Cleaver ever, but he is far enough ahead, and he's feeling confident in himself. He's going to shred through the Urgot with that item choice.
Yeah, Pentanet again, grouping up on mid wave. Can we push this out? 5-man mid, push it out, maybe we can move the sides. The problem is RNG have side push. Xiaohu's already in Fog of War, and they're going to collapse on you.
Now going forward, Wei's just going to burn him down. He doesn't even need the ultimate, but he silenced himself. They're overheating a little bit too soon, but that's on the backside.
Oh.
That's Xiaohu going in. He's finding a single kill onto Lee Sin. Oh. Here comes the Rumble ult. It's just too much damage. The flash hook from Ming from downtown. The double for Xiaohu, a single for Gala, and the fight for RNG.
This might be a 20-minute Baron as well. RNG collapse on Pentanet. Pentanet wanted to push in mid-wave as 5 and then try to get some vision so they have room to work with this Fiddlesticks, with this Lee Sin. Chaz loses the 1v1 to Xiaohu. The Rumble ultimate zones away 3 members of Pentanet, and that's a 20-minute Baron. Pabu is around, he has ultimate, but there goes Cryin.
Ult comes in from the Nocturne, but Pabu holding on for now. Stride Pabu comes in. Pabu, no!
He almost had him, almost, and then he would have had the ult to try and get into the pit, but he did use the smite. Cryin takes him down. Baron, Xiaohu still pushing with Herald. Biopanther has no flash.
It's almost a 10K gold lead. Xiaohu's about to go mega.
Level 15 at 20 minutes. Xiaohu is so far ahead.
Cadril. It was David versus Goliath, RNG versus Pentanet.gg, and now there's a third tier, the bonus tier that we've unlocked, which is RNG with the 10K gold lead against Pentanet.gg.
With a Baron buff.
With a Baron buff.
Level 15 Gnar.
And I would say that this is a 99-1% sort of game.
Yeah, we'll have to see how RNG use their Baron power play. And if they can push in, there's still a tier 2 bot open.
Yeah. And we normally talk about with the first Baron power play, the Red Bull Baron power play, breaking tier 2s, and that's all you're going to get. But with this one, with this big of a lead, they very well could just end the game.
Yeah, they're probably going to look for dives. Nocturne ultimate up soon. The Rumble ultimate's up. Xiaohu's probably going to push in mid. They're playing a 4-1 here. No, they're playing a 1-3-1. Cryin has TP, sorry. So they're going to push in all 3 lanes. And the moment Pentanet group up to try to defend, I wouldn't be surprised to see RNG look for a dive. Not normally what you do on paper. You normally chip down the towers, but they're so far ahead.
Chaz now walking in, but Wei is there. Has overheated, but he still just does so much damage with the autos. He's just going to get locked up, taken out. Chaz can get nothing done. RNG, so powerful. Pabu waiting in the darkness. Here comes the
Praedyth.
He wants to turn. Pabu, he just doesn't do enough damage over, but they pulled the Nocturne back into the tower. Cryin still living, though.
Xiaohu.
RNG just 2
Look at Xiaohu
ahead. Xiaohu gonna finish the job, and that's gotta be it. No hope left for Pentanet.gg. RNG coming in clutch in this game. They simply cannot lose a fight.
Yeah, Pentanet don't have that much wave clear. Jinx is going to have to step up, so they tried to find a pick. Chaz gets warded on the Lantern. From there, Xiaohu collapses after pushing in mid. He's basically tanking a tier 2 tower, dives them with the Mega Gnar. I think that's going to be it. PGG, they're up in 5 to 10 seconds. Maybe they can look to defend. Xiaohu's basing. He's probably going to TP back. Maybe they want to look to end. Or RNG going to play this slow. Base, regroup towards the top side, but this game looks far from done. Pentanet down almost 13,000 gold, 2 inhibitors at 22 minutes into the game.
Thing is, Cadril, a 13,000 gold lead, you can take your time. It's not even disrespectful, it's probably the right choice. You can see 5K, Red Bull Baron power play, it's mad. This team is too far ahead. I don't think anyone on PGG can walk up, and we might see that right now. Xiaohu just gonna walk into Pabu, forces out the Proto Belt, and Praedyth poking, but he cannot walk into auto attack range of Xiaohu.
And this is kind of what we expected, right? The #1 seed coming out of the LPL, RNG versus Pentanet. It was looking dire on paper. I think most people expected RNG to win, but this is a very convincing win. RNG just kind of have to walk into the top side here, and I think from there, the game's kind of over. Praedyth has Flash to work with. Chaz has completed the second item, but I think this deficit is just too much to mount.
Bing hooking his way out. Xiaohu about to go Mega. Solid player, just sitting on this, isn't going to auto attack anymore. Just on the edge of going Mega. If they hit him once, he'll transform. They kind of want to hit him to stop him from going Mega on his own terms, but now Pabu goes in on the top side. I think that's just going to be it. Look at that Rumble ult across the backside. He leaps in. He throws him into the wall. That is a slam dunk. That is just a clean house from the side of RNG. They have absolutely decimated Pentanet.gg. Triple kill coming in for Gala. Absolute domination. It was close for a few minutes of the game, but since then, RNG has been in absolute control. Differences in the lane, differences in the map play, and in the compositions. RNG coming out on top. Pentanet.gg never getting a chance in this game.
Yeah, only really one mistake from RNG over chasing in topside, but even then, the pressure of the lanes that they had was able to net them just such a huge early lead. They dominated the fights from start to finish. Really good execution from Ming to trade Flash with Praedyth. That unlocked the game from them, and from their way, just ran away with the game.
And we're learning a lot about the meta. We learned why Rumble was banned in the first 2 games, most certainly. And while Pentanet maybe feel like they had an answer in the Fiddlesticks, it did not work out this time around. Of course, adaptation, though, is the name of the game. A single loss is not the end of this tournament. Their biggest opponent is the Unicorns of Love. RNG, the expected favorites for this group. You will well on Pentanet.gg, fighting for that second slot in our only 3-team group.
Yeah, 3 teams. Pentanet losing here is not the biggest of issues for them, right? Losing to RNG was expected. You expect RNG to beat UOL as well. It's more about can they beat UOL. That's their main rival in this group. Losing to RNG, it's not that big of a problem for them.
On the opposite side for RNG, I think not the biggest test for this team. They were coming out individually just in top lane with the Gnar pick, massive individual leads built up there. The execution in the fights, Wei absolutely dominating in the early matchup. And one of the things that I love that we saw from this team is just the flawless tracking of Pabu in the early game. Perfect wards at every single turn.
And also respecting the fight.